All right, we got One Punch Man chapter 216. Y'all already know, man. We with what that oh my god, bro, I forget the name right now, but let's listen, because you know I like plot armor, but we got, you know, we gotta see his perspective, because I like how he breaks stuff down. Y'all already know. I've been saying it. Let's get it.
This chapter of One Punch Man.
Look at the girls!
And the world turns on one of the strongest heroes ever, but Saitama doesn't give a damn what they think.
Let that brother cook.
The cover page of One Punch Man chapter 216, titled Monster, features Saitama climbing onto a gorgeous—
Oh, bro, this is dope. I see what Murata start getting into his whip drawing art now, bro. This is dope right here.
Truck. Genos is driving, Monoko is inside, and Tatsumaki is flying overhead. The license plate is registered
D-City.
D-City, and the tire marks even spell out One Punch Man.
Oh shit, I ain't knew that part right now. Good catch though. I ain't knew that part right now. The volume seems kind of low though.
This is yet another color page. So we have officially broken the record for consecutive color pages. I wonder how long this will go on for. The thought of this becoming the new normal is pretty crazy. Between beautiful vehicles and pin-up shots, Murata is doing the culture a great service. Picking up from last time, the Ferris wheel was heavily leaning onto one side. But despite the terrified screams of the people inside, the collapse had been halted. Shinpei, a former member of Narinki's private squad, pointed and shouted for everyone to take a closer look. A lone figure was holding one of the structure's joints together. The squad and other members of the crowd marveled at the incredible feat. They took the fact that Sweet Mask could do such a thing with his bare hands as a sign of their ensured safety. Having removed his guise to reveal his—
Bro, this right here is crazy, bro. I like this how it looked. I like this though.
Monstrous visage, the hero strained while finally using his true strength. He slammed the beam down and reconnected the structure. And just like that, a greater disaster and loss of life had been prevented. Now, this is an absurd feat when you consider just how much this thing must weigh. Considering real-world Ferris wheels in Tokyo, Osaka, and Yokohama, for the wheel alone, we are looking at anywhere between 400 and 700 tons. Saitama aside, this might just make Sweet Mask the second strongest hero, at least when it comes to physicality. The only one—
I'm finna say, yeah, well, this one right here now, yeah, Darkshine.
Above him being Super Alloy Darkshine, whose strength is said to be incalculable. But even then, while Darkshine can bench dozens of tons with ease, we've yet to see him do anything on this scale just yet. The crowd—
Yeah, not yet, but bro, yeah. Once y'all see that next arc, bro. Once y'all see that next arc, when y'all see that next arc, yes,
was overjoyed by the awe-inspiring feat. Pesky Clown was speechless. The hero leapt down amidst the smoke as the crowd chanted his name. Their cheer continued as he returned to the ground with ease. Pesky Clown—
Bro, now I ain't gonna lie, I like this drawing right here, bro. This back shot, pause on that. This back shots right here is nice, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
Moved an inch as the hero walked closer. This clash of theirs had gone well beyond his wildest imagination. With a massive and dangerously pointed smile, the clown thanked the hero yet again. This turn of events would only serve to exponentially increase his own strength yet again. Pesky rushed towards the obscured hero. He was grateful for the entertainment that the man's spirit of service had given him. Opting for a kick, the monster expected nothing less from an idol. But the smoke cleared.
Woo, bro, look at the aura. Look at the aura, bro. Just look at this aura.
And his attack was thwarted by the idol's guard and grasp. Pesky's eyes went wide with horror and shock. The crowd of onlookers froze mid-motion as they saw the appearance of their supposed savior. And that includes his super fan. The distorted and bulbous features of Sweet Mask made him unrecognizable.
Yeah.
But as his arm swelled further, he had no trouble recognizing his enemy. With the collective—
God! Dang, that total chomp out there. His arm literally just bit a chomp.
Of his fist, Sweet Mask tore out a huge chunk of the monster's leg as if it were putty. Pesky howled in agony. His scream took the place of the crowd's previously boisterous applause. The clown hopped on one leg while hopelessly consoling the other. All the while, Sweet Mask prepared a follow-up blow. With a single Herculean punch, he literally pushed the painted Goliath's face in. The ground ruptured from the fallout. Pesky Clown was hurled many yards away. He was left worse off than Yamcha and was now in a bed of rubble.
Dang.
With his red nose sunken in, the monster was
Bro having a hard time breathing. Yeah, that's it right there, GG.
now a gurgling mess. The superfan was immobilized by terror and the inversion of everything she previously revered the hero for. Sweet Mask then turned to the crowd. With his true appearance,
I like how this right here look. Murata drew this right here nice, bro. Cause yo, I expected him to look like a monster. Yeah, this is wow, bro. This is crazy. This is wild.
on full display, the first thing he did in the absence of danger was ask if anyone was hurt. The former fan cried out about his hideous looks. She forced her way through the bewildered crowd in dismay. She begged the ugly thing not to look in her direction. Pesky Clown sat up while holding onto his gushing face. Even he questioned what kind of creature Sweet Mask was. He shouted about the total alteration of the hero's appearance. Sweet Mask gripped his own face and felt at it. He couldn't transform back. And just as he feared previously, his mind was failing him. He couldn't concentrate at all. He looked down at his own hands in horror. His sense of self was crumbling away. The crowd began to murmur and question. Some wondered if Sweet Mask had monsterized. Others suspected that this had to be an imposter, an insidious monster who had been imitating their beloved Sweet Mask. Meanwhile, the news broadcast realized that they had just caught the scoop of the decade and prepared to spread the information with haste. All the while, Sweet Mask was struggling to hold on to what little consciousness he had left. Meanwhile, Saitama
This brother lost that many times. Bro, just hang it up. You're not gonna beat King, bro.
was still on his way over to King's place to play video games.
Oh my.
Which just goes to show how little time has passed since he left Sweet Mask
Bro, let it go. Let this go.
inside that Ferris wheel. Saitama was sure that today would be the day that he finally gets a win and breaks King's winning streak of 1,525 matches. And you know, with that much practice, I have to wonder how good Saitama might be at these games compared to anyone other than King. In the Volume 10 extra chapter, Numbers, he was no match for a former pro gamer. But that was nearly 2 months ago. Either way, Saitama's roof-to-roof jaunts were interrupted by a peculiar sight. He noticed Genos was headed in the opposite direction with speed and wondered where he was going. Recognizing his master, Genos immediately relayed the information.
And I like how Gino look. I like how they drew Gino with all these little nice little clothes, bro. That's nice. That's dope.
That an especially powerful
Nice
monster
little
had
outfit.
appeared in Arinki's iCity amusement park. He added the fact that with Sweet Mask struggling against the monster, an S-Class dispatch notice had been issued. Although, if it weren't for the whole him being a monster thing, he would have died here, there's no question about it, they would have been too late. But now that he'd stopped, Genos also noticed something peculiar. A live broadcast was being displayed on the big screen for all to see. The entire nation was able to witness the real Sweet Mask. The narrative was teeming with a mixture of confusion and terror. His heroic deeds had been totally negated and forgotten. Instead, the world was reeling from the sight of his obviously inhuman body. Genos couldn't believe his eyes. Seeing as his master had been with the man for the last 2 days, he had to ask what the hell they were looking at. Saitama didn't answer him. Instead, he let Genos know that he'd be going on ahead. Genos wondered what he meant, but Saitama had already launched off in the direction of the amusement park in a flash. As a reminder, King lives in M City, so we are looking at a distance of 4 cities over. And if Genos is coming from Hero Association headquarters, then he would be covering a distance of 8 cities over. Saitama doesn't care what the rest of the world thinks. He's already accepted Sweet Mask as his friend. By virtue of that, he holds the idol hero in higher esteem than even Fubuki. Sure, he's known and interacted with her for longer, but Saitama has clarified that she's just an acquaintance to him. Now, when it comes to the differences with this one, aside from a bit of skewed order, Sweet Mask took a chunk out of Pesky's leg, while in the webcomic, he grabbed the clown's leg and crushed it with a hug. To me, the manga version is both cooler and more impressive. In the webcomic, after pushing Pesky's face in, Sweet Mask followed it up by crushing the monster's arm. Then he pelted the clown's chest with several sharpened blows. And I'd say that the lack of that here definitely makes Sweet Mask seem a lot stronger and more intimidating. And that's just because at this point, Pesky Clown is still alive. When it comes to the crowd's banter, in the webcomic, they mentioned that Sweet Mask is no doubt S-class level when he unleashes his true power. This is the second time the manga has omitted this distinction when it comes to Sweet Mask. The last time was straight from the S-class heroes themselves during the Monster Association arc, namely by Atomic Samurai, a hero who is certainly in their upper echelon of power. And this was back when Sweet Mask was still in his human form. So again, the idol hero is crazy strong. Furthermore, instead of planning on playing video games with King, Saitama originally left Sweet Mask because he promised to have another sparring match against Genos. So when he met Genos on his way over, the cyborg had to request that they hold off for the time being. Now, although fighting Genos would obviously be cooler, I think the King angle makes more contextual sense. Technically, Saitama and Genos went head to head only a few days ago. This was prompted by Genos' most recent upgrade, making him considerably stronger. Since then, Genos hasn't received any upgrades or had much time to improve. So why would he insist on another battle when he himself ended their previous bout before any blows could be exchanged after recognizing the vast difference in their power levels? Now, maybe this could have been shifted to a promise of training, but at least for Genos, every moment he spends in Saitama's presence is some sort of training. Besides, a desire to be king in video games taking him away is sillier and more in line with Saitama's mentality. Finally, Genos' assessment of Sweet Mask was a bit more critical in the webcomic. He didn't hesitate to label the man as a monster, and feared that he would be a threat to the humans on the scene. I don't especially have a preference towards either approach here. Deferring to Saitama's judgment is more studious, respectful, and overall safe in terms of the audience's interpretation of the character. While I feel like labeling Sweet Mask as a monster shows a bit more of the bite and aggression that Genos has when he's away from Saitama's influence. It's easy to forget since he's usually moving around like a dutiful housewife, but Genos' hero name, Demon Cyborg, is very accurate. This was yet another incredible chapter. Even with the shorter installments, I can't help but love the consistency. Not to mention the colored covers I can't get enough of. Guys, we are days away from the release of One Punch Man Season 3. And I'll be honest with you, the PowerPoint style previews definitely have me feeling a bit nervous. But whatever the case, I'm sure we'll be able to have a lot of fun breaking things down throughout the season. So hopefully you can at least look forward to that, and plenty more One Punch Man chapters to come. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku, thank you.
I respect that. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we got another banger, but you already know. League of Our Skits, not stuff, man. Let's go on.